What's up out there, Colorado Buffaloes?
About football.
I'm passionate about everything. I don't just want them to be passionate about football. First and foremost, I want them to be passionate about their lives. I want them to be passionate about today.
Today, we've got several great news stories for you, so let's get started. Our main story today is about Shaduer Sanders pulling off a portal miracle, we'll call it, and bringing in an epic star to Colorado. Plus, we're going to talk about Coach Prime living the dream and a couple other great stories. So, grab you a hash brown from over at McDonald's, sit back and get ready because this is the prime time for college football. Now, our first story today, we're going to talk about Shaduer Sanders reeling in an epic star to Colorado. Recently, Shaduer reached out to FAU star LaJohntay Wester on social media, posting, "We want Wester in Boulder." I'm showing that tweet now on the screen. Now, coaches are not able to recruit players directly, especially in the portal or really anywhere. They can't reach out to them on social media. They can't mention them until they're part of a signing class or they've transferred in or enrolled in. But players are able to recruit freely and however they want. Wester decided to bring his talents and his services to Colorado after Shaduer pressed. For those of you who don't know, Wester is an amazing athlete from FAU. He was a first-team All-American punt returner. We've talked about him a little bit. And a first-team All-AAC receiver. He had over 1,500 all-purpose yards, and he had 10 touchdowns as a junior at FAU. He was lightly recruited out of high school, but made an immediate impact at FAU. He has 2 years of eligibility remaining and is expected to compete for the starting receiver job at Colorado. Wester is ranked as the 35th best receiver in the transfer market, and Colorado's transfer haul is currently ranked second nationally. When you think about that, and you think about the fact that Wester was recruited in by Shaduer Sanders, was brought in and publicly kind of encouraged to join the Buffs, and Shaduer had a large part of that, it is pretty obvious to see why he would pick the Buffs. Now, I'm not saying that was the only reason he did, but that's a pretty cool aspect. A kid that we've talked about is probably going to go in the top 10 of the NFL draft next year. A kid who will be up for the Heisman and in Heisman consideration this year. And not only the quarterback of the Colorado Buffs, but also Coach Prime's son. It's a little bit of a hidden advantage that I think Coach Prime and the Buffs have over most programs out there. Now, all kids recruit on social media. All kids try and get others to come. But when it's the quarterback that's likely going to be talked about for the Heisman, and when it's a quarterback who's going to be a first-round draft pick if everything goes according to plan, it's a little bit more special to get that public recruitment from him. What are your thoughts, and is there anyone else that you think Shaduer should be reaching out to try and get to Boulder? Let's talk about that down in the comments. Next, let's talk about Coach Prime absolutely living the dream. Now, recently on Twitter, Coach Prime liked the following tweet. Crazy thing is, no matter how many wins or L's Coach Prime gets, he's got 2 sons playing on the same exact field that he's coaching. Every game, every city, every day, he's ultimately winning. He's a walking bucket. We thought that this was a good reminder to shout out all the fathers out there. And we remind you, if you are out there living the dream today, you should be doing it with your kids. Enjoy the little moments. You may not be coaching them in a college football game. You may not be leading them to the Heisman or the first round of the NFL draft, but you should certainly enjoy those little moments. Coach Prime talks about his kids all the time. He talks about his family all the time. He talks about the things that are most important to him all the time. It's not always just about football. And I think one of the things that I'm reminded of so often when Coach Prime is talking about those things that are most important to him, his family, his faith, his friends, the people close to him, the things that are bigger than just the sport, It's that he doesn't take those things for granted. He doesn't minimize those things at all and just say, oh, no, I'm just a football coach. I just want to talk about football. I just want to do this. I just want to do that. He truly does incorporate that into all aspects of what's going on in his life. And it's a good reminder. Of course, he is happy and excited anytime any one of his players makes a strong play or makes a great play out on the football field. But how much more excited does he get, you think, when Shaduer makes a play or when Shiloh makes a play? How much more excited do you think he is to see videos made by his other sons, his other daughter? How much more excited do you think he is when it's his kids that are the ones bringing him the honor? It's a cool reminder, and it's something to think about. Next up, let's talk about the new Coach Prime hat that is selling out in record time. Now, recently, eager Colorado fans waited for a very new exclusive hat to drop. The Back to Basics College Crowns throwback line by 5950 featured 14 NCAA schools, including a classic black CU Ralphie cap with the Orange Bowl logo on the side. It was a smashing success with a record sellout in 4 minutes on the Lids website. It's kind of making me think we should do some merchandise for this channel. Just kidding. They were sold in fitted styles valued at $50 each, and we already know about the Prime impact on merchandise. The city of Boulder, as you guys well know, saw a $113 million tourism boost in 2023, exceeding the 5 previous years combined. Colorado's online team store sales in September of 2023 were 25 times higher than the same month in 2022. All home games were sold out in 2023 for the first time ever. And it was another record-breaking spring game sellout that we had last year, and you'd expect another one coming this year in Boulder for Colorado. What Coach Prime has done on and in the community is so much more than just what he's done on the football field. The impact that he's had on people's lives, he has literally changed small businesses' lives and changed store owners and business owners' lives there in Colorado. That's why we've urged business owners and we've urged people who live in Colorado and the Boulder area to give back, to try and bless the students, the athletes, those who are on the football team, those who play sports for Colorado, to potentially give back and assist with NIL efforts. The hats are pretty dope, and I wasn't even close to being able to get one. I'll have to stick with the one that I have here and made myself, but if you got one of those hats, certainly let me know down in the comments. Had a question in our Discord, which we ask you to go join if you'd like. It is free to join. You can also join our Patreon if you'd like, but there's a link to the Discord in the description. Had a question about the national championship and certainly did watch that on Monday night. Hopefully you enjoyed that. We recorded before the championship took place, so we didn't talk about that in Tuesday's video. But yeah, I really did enjoy the game. Wish it had been a little bit closer. I think what was most emphasized in that game was the trenches. When you saw what Michigan was able to do on the ground, that was a big part of their success. And that's why Coach Prime is building up the trenches so much here in 2024. I expect the trenches to be a lot better for Colorado. Not going to say they'll be on Michigan's level, but Michigan was a team that didn't have the highest recruiting rankings year over year. But, man, they had some trench players. And I think that's why Coach Prime's focus is there. And that was my biggest takeaway from the game, watching it from a Colorado perspective. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you, as always, for being part of the family and watching the prime time for college football.